from Alterknit Universe and Art Equals Happy, and it's amazing to have you here. We are doing the second one of our series called Friends of Alterknit Universe, and today we are going to be talking about and hanging out with Amy Florence of Stranded Dyeworks. So why do we stock Stranded Dyeworks? Well, first of all, Amy is a dear friend of mine, and when she started her yarn business, I wanted to support her in some way, and she has done us the wonderful honor of having a few trunk shows here, and we even stock an exclusive base of hers. Oh, for those of you who don't know, I am Kim Smith Happy all over the internet, and I run an ethical local yarn store near Bristol in the United Kingdom. And in our store, we have four criteria that we try and stick to. Everything in the store has to be natural, recycled, local, or ethically produced. And that is so that my lovely customers and friends can come in here and shop with a good conscience. They know that nothing in here is harming the environment or any people or animals that live on the planet. So how did Amy and I meet? Well, Amy was actually a follower of my blog way back in the day when I was at uni in London. And Amy messaged me and was like, you seem kind of cool. And I was like, you seem kind of cool. So we decided to meet up for some crafty days. We did some scrapbooking and some crochet. I think eventually I taught her how to spin, I think I taught her how to spin. I can't quite remember, but I remember us always getting together in my flat in London and like learning new things and exploring new things together. It was really awesome. I was just learning how to spin on a wheel at the time. We had loads of adventures in London. It was really fun. We went to art galleries. She was doing an illustration degree at the time, or was thinking about doing one when we met. I was doing an illustration degree, so there was lots of like sketching and taking photos and hanging out. It was a really, really lovely time. She had a tiny little flat that I stayed at for a while. After I'd moved from London, I was sort of like in this flux period of my life where I was sort of working in Birmingham part-time and working, trying to get the shop open and stuff. And I actually stayed with Amy for a while. I stayed at her house when we did big craft shows down in London, and when I did the Molly Makes Awards. Like, I always knew that she was there with like a big hug, which was amazing. We used to listen to podcasts in bed, and I'm trying to think what they were called, but they were knitting podcasts, audio knitting podcasts, and we used to listen to them, and we had no idea where our lives would take us. And so the fact that she decided to start a indie dyeing business and has been so successful, and I've got my little yarn shop which has been running for years and is still here and everything, it just warms my heart, the fact that we have kind of like grown with each other, if that makes sense. I haven't seen her in a while, but we talk on text quite regularly, and I think that's the wonder of the internet, is we can keep up with each other via YouTube and Instagram and everything like that. So yeah, I'm really happy to have some of Amy's yarn here. It is very circumstantial depending on her schedule and our schedules and stuff like that, but when we can make it happen, we do. So Amy is an acid dyer. She dyes yarns under the name Stranded Dyeworks, and she does tend to take into consideration the bases that she uses and where they come from, and I believe all of her bases are UK mill spun, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But the base that we stock in the shop is BFL and bamboo, which is amazing. So here is one of her skeins. Back when she was still naming her bases after different types of places where you would maybe feel stranded, or quiet places, those kinds of things, we decided to name this Sanctuary, and that was actually a suggestion from my Sunday knit group, because this shop is kind of a sanctuary for people. They can come take a break from the world, relax, get inspired, that kind of thing. So I love this idea, and Sanctuary can kind of feel lonely and alone and isolated and things like that. So it goes with the whole this stranded name. Now she's just calling her bases what they are, which is great. This base is Superwash BFL, which is Blueface Leicester, which is my favorite fleece and sheep ever. They have these big long noses that I just love. And then 20% bamboo. Bamboo is a super sustainable fiber. You may have heard with all of the like eco-friendly, sustainable stuff that's been going around the internet the last few years that bamboo is an incredibly sustainable plant to grow. It grows really fast, and that means that you can cut it down and regrow it without like harming the environment or whatever. So if I could, I would just have like 100% bamboo yarn. We do have some bamboo fiber, but this is a really nice alternative if you want a strong sock yarn that doesn't have nylon in it, because nylon is essentially plastic. When we made this, the superwash was the only option that we had, but I'm sure we could look into finding a non-superwash BFL, because for those of you that know, superwash is basically where you coat your yarn with a little bit of plastic. So that kind of sucks. And microplastics are a thing and it's horrible. But this stuff is super nice and strong. And if you're going to be wearing socks for a long time, I feel like superwash is kind of like the lesser of many evils. Like, I would rather you knit yourself a pair of superwash socks and wear them to death than buy some really cheap socks from Tesco or something, or Primark or something like that, that are gonna like wear out and then you're just gonna chuck them into landfill, because over time the plastic does come off of these and then they do become biodegradable because they're essentially just plants and animal fiber. Anyway, I've talked about superwash for far too long, but I think these are the only skeins that we have in stock at the moment. They are all on the online shop right now. So we've got 5 skeins left of her yarn in the shop. I'm sure at some point we will definitely be getting more in. It just depends on Amy's schedule and all that kind of stuff. She is a very busy dyer. Her updates sell out so fast. So if you've always wanted to try one of her yarns and you've never really had a chance, we have some singular skeins here. So yeah, natural fibers. It's got bamboo in it. Local, because she is in the UK. She used to dye in the south of England and now she's in Scotland. And ethically sourced because it comes from a British mill. BFL is a British breed and they are non-mulesed, which is great. So yeah, really good, really goes with our ethos and everything. And if you want some bright, funky, fun, acid dyed colors, these are the ones. Hopefully we can convince her to come down and do another trunk show at some point. I'm sure I have some footage I can dig up of trunk shows in the past, so I will go ahead and put those at the end of this video, as is customary. But the next thing I have to share with you guys is actually some finished objects from this base. So these beautiful socks are finished objects that a couple of years ago, when Amy first introduced the Sanctuary base, she sent us a few skeins before the trunk show so that we could make a window display and knit up a sample. And I was running out of time. I was really worried I wasn't going to have enough time to knit a sample. So I gave a skein to one of my knit group members who very valiantly volunteered as tribute. And they made this beautiful sock. It's got little zigzags and little cables. I'm sure I can find the pattern for these. I think it's a Coop Knits pattern. This is made out of her balloon colorway. They have held up marvelously. They've never been worn. I don't think they're just samples, but they have been touched and loved by hundreds of hands over the years. And they are so, so gorgeous. So these are the beautiful socks. During that time, I had also decided I was gonna knit a sample as well. And I made this gigantic beauty. It is so bright. So it is a top that you wear in summer. I wear a little vest top underneath it, or like a bralette or a swimming suit or something, and it goes over the top. The drape on this is so gorgeous. It's perfect for summer because it's got that bamboo in it, so it's so light. The only thing about it is we've gotten a couple of little stains on it over the years, just as we've been blocking it out. I very foolishly used regular sewing pins, and so there's a little bit of rust stains on it, but that's nothing to do with the yarn or anything. As you can see, the drape of this is just stunning. So yeah, this is one of my favorite finished objects. I wear it all the time in the summer. The one thing that I find difficult about wearing hand knits in the summer is that I kind of want to wash them after I wear them, like once or twice, and then I want to wash them by hand, and then they get stuck in the basket to be washed by hand, and I never get around to actually doing it. So I I usually wear it only a couple of times in the summer, unless my mom volunteers to wash it for me, and then I wear it all the time. It is a beautiful yarn. It is soft. The Blueface Leicester gives it that that woolly feel that has a bit of a luster to it, and then the bamboo almost acts as like a silk, so it adds a beautiful planty drape to it, you know, like what you would expect with a linen or something like that. It's absolutely gorgeous. I love it to death. The last finished object I have is actually one that I made with a prototype of Amy's yarn. So this red here was a skein that she tried out, and it was a little more rough, more rustic than she was looking for at the time. But she dyed it up in this beautiful variegated reds and then sent it over to me, and I was like, yes, please, I will happily take that. She was like, these are your colors, please enjoy. So this is the Wonder Woman shawl. I made it with that wonderful one-of-a-kind pre-stranded Dyeworks, and then this amazing like cashmere yellow that I got from one fair that we went together, and I fell in love with the dyer. Beautiful, beautiful. This is another one that gets worn all the time. I usually wear it like this, just as like a neckerchief. I usually wear it to yarn shows and stuff because it is very recognizable. So the next thing to do is to leave you with Amy. She has a message for you guys, specifically for you guys, and I'll let her take it from here. Here we go.
Hi everyone, my name is Amy, also known as Amy Florence. You might know me from the Stranded podcast, or just as the dyer behind Stranded Dyeworks hand-dyed yarn. I have known Kim, the proprietress of Alterknit Universe, for over a decade. We met while we were both at art school, separate art schools. We just happened to meet along the way. And I have a lot of fun memories of hanging out at Kim's flat in Camberwell in London, making all sorts of things. I was still working on my very first ever knitting project when I met Kim. It was a garter stitch blanket made out of acrylic garter stitch squares, and yeah, I remember working on that in Kim's flat. Kim is the very first person who introduced me to spinning. I bought a drop spindle after hanging out with her. We got up to all sorts of shenanigans in her flat. I remember us celebrating our 21st birthdays because we are born 3 days apart. She is a Halloween baby, and I was supposed to be born on Halloween, but I was 3 days late, the only time in my life I have ever been late. And I was born on November the 3rd, so we celebrated our 21st in the middle, which was really, really fun. So Kim and I have known each other for a long time, before Stranded was a thing, before Alterknit Universe was a thing, and it's really great to see what an incredible community she is building over in Bristol, even though she's now really far away from me. She moved back to Bristol and I moved to Scotland, so we don't get to see each other very much anymore, but we still text all the time, which is fabulous. And I have been lucky enough to do a couple of trunk shows at her fabulous yarn shop, and just visited, which is really, really lovely. I have been welcomed by the Sunday night knit nights several times, and they're all absolutely lovely. So if you're watching this and you are in the area, and you haven't been along to the knit night, I know that we're living in strange times at the moment, and it's really, really important to support small businesses because we just can't survive without you. And going in for knit nights isn't a thing we can do at the moment, but hopefully when everything gets back to normal, the knit night at Alterknit Universe is knit afternoon on Sundays. There's always really good snacks and everybody is always absolutely lovely. So yeah, I wholeheartedly recommend it. I'm supposed to be talking a little bit about what I do, rather than just sitting on the spare bed in my guest room, surrounded by cardboard boxes and piles of yarn because I have just done a podcast. But there you go. I could have recorded this in my office, except it's a total mess because I have a really long to-do list, so keeping it real over here. Anyway, I really miss you, Kim. I miss hanging out at the shop, and I am so excited to see all of the things you are doing and living vicariously through you. I hope that I will be able to visit soon-ish. I don't know what the world is anymore. And we can catch up and knit and chat, and I can browse all of the gorgeous things that you stock in your shop. I hope you're all having a wonderful day, and yeah, happy knitting.
So thank you, Amy, for that cute little message, and thank you guys for watching. So as I'm sure you know, Amy has an online shop, an Instagram, and a YouTube. She's doing some Vlogmas stuff, and she always posts great podcasts. So I will leave all of her links down below in the description. Give us a like if you like the video, subscribe if you want to see more of this kind of stuff, and if you are new to my channel, hello and welcome. It's lovely to have you here. I'm gonna sign off for now, but I will see you next week with another Friends of Alterknit Universe, and every single day in December up to Christmas for Vlogmas. Thank you guys so much for watching. Mwah! Vlogging.
Kim's vlogging.
We're
Me
vlogging. Do 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 do. Bow bow bow. Okay. And okay, what's the next bit? So yeah. I say so a lot. This is why I edit my videos. Okay. So why the heck do we stock stranded Dyeworks? And she has surpassed me in what's the word? Local, natural, local, recycled, and ethical. Yeah. Anyway. Right. I can't remember. Those days are kind of like hazy. But no, that doesn't sound right. That sounds like I was stoned off my brain during uni. I'm so tired. I'm like, what am I talking about? Oh God, I'm so tired. I feel so ingenuine right now. Right, I think that's good.